All right, good evening, everyone. I call this meeting to order. Welcome to the November 6th, 2025 Human Relations Committee. Like to let the public know that we have agenda copies available for the public, should you choose to get one. I'll now tell the principal management analyst to take attendance by roll call.
Thank you, Chair. Committee Member Lester. Here. Committee Member McDonald. Committee Member Smith. Here. Committee Member Sylvester. Here. Committee Member Webb.
Here.
Vice Chair Chadwell. Here. And Chair Poicon.
Here. Thank you. Moving on to item 3, minutes approval. The minutes for September 4th, 2025 regular meeting have been delivered to the committee members and posted on the City Hall bulletin board. If there are no corrections or additions, a motion is in order to approve these minutes.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Got it first by Committee Member Lester and a second by Committee Members Ida Rose. Guess all in favor say aye. Okay, no nays. Motion carries. Moving on to item 4, oral communications from the public. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons wishing to address the committee on any matter not on the agenda. Each speaker has up to 3 minutes to make their comments. State law prohibits the committee from acting on non-agenda items. For those attending the meeting via Zoom, please use the raise your hand function or press *9 on your phone to make a comment on any item not on the agenda. The committee will receive in-person comments first. Seeing none, do we have any online? Seeing none, okay, and we'll close item 4. Moving on to unfinished business. Item 5.1, Civic Participation Ad Hoc Committee. The Civic Participation Ad Hoc Committee will present an oral update. No action will be taken on this item.
Thank you, Chair. The Civic Participation Ad Hoc Committee has been meeting, I think at least once a month since September. And we kind of regrouped when we realized that a lot of our schedules were super busy and we wanted to explore different opportunities of collecting data on civic participation in the city of Mountain View. So Chair Poicon and I are going to be working on distributing our questions that we developed in a survey format to various email lists. There are also some organizations and groups that do civically engage but don't have regular meetings. So we figured that using email distribution lists could help us reach folks that don't meet regularly or perhaps don't have the same opportunity to get out in the community and interview with us. And then committee member Sylvester has been taking the lead on continuing the original format that we were using, which is interviews. So we are going to have 2 different sets of data, but I'm hoping both will be comprehensive in helping us identify themes. And so we do have an end in sight with this project and are planning on coming together in December to talk more about how we are going to essentially organize the data that we collect and finish collecting over the next month or so, and how we're going to pull out themes and pull out essentially what will turn into hopefully not advice, but like, and not even direction, but yeah. Insights, yeah. That city staff can integrate into the work that they do when they're doing community outreach and encouraging civic participation.
Thank you so much, Committee Member Lester. I now open it to the committee members for questions. See any? All right, seeing none. I now open it attendees, seeing none and seeing none online. Thank you so much for your report. We'll be moving on to new business. Item 6.1, informational presentation on community for all programs supporting immigrants. The committee will now receive a presentation on this item from Deputy City Manager Kimberly Thomas. Action will be taken on this item.
Okay, so action won't be taken on it.
No action.
No action, none.
The recommendation is that no action will be taken.
My notes are off. Sorry about that.
Oh,
So-
wonderful. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate it. Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much. You run a tight ship on a meeting. I appreciate that. That's very kind. We've got young children at home, so that will be great for us to see those children. Good evening. I do thank you for the opportunity to speak with you here tonight. I'm pleased to be here to provide this informational presentation about Community for All programs that are supporting our immigrant community. Tonight, I'll provide an overview of the current state of federal immigration actions impacting our community and the resources provided by the city, the nonprofit agencies serving our community, community-based organizations, the County of Santa Clara, and others that are demonstrating a commitment to our immigrant community. Shown on screen is a high-level summary of federal immigration actions impacting local government in Mountain View and across the country. As a whole, what we are seeing is reduced funding to agencies, sanctuary cities at risk of losing funding, and federal grants for local government at risk of loss, or having additional requirements layered onto those grants in order for cities to accept them. That includes things like CDBG and home, which you're very familiar as you review it every 2 years. We're also seeing restricted immigrant benefits impacting grants, health and nutrition services. This includes basic essential services like food pantries, as well as other essential service providers that are low barrier, meaning they serve a wide mix of the community that may be in need. Some additional issues are reduced access to immigration services if you are trying to depart to another country or come into Mountain View. And it's also affected refugee status and those programs. There were some significant recent reductions that the administration has taken on that front. I should also note that while I'm not here as a representative of the county, there are significant actions being taken by the County of Santa Clara in this space. They are a major partner to all cities throughout the county, and some of their actions include they have been really more proactive than any county. They provided approximately $10 million in support to the immigrant community and those who serve them, of which about $8 million has gone directly to legal services. So helping our community in that way. They've also provided a wide range of essential services, and significantly, they are funding the Rapid Response Network to do the good work that it does throughout our community. It's really a major factor and something that without which from the prior administration cycle and the current administration cycle, we really couldn't meet the needs of the immigrant community. They're also doing lots of coordination, collaboration, and communication, sharing resources, information, and the city of Mountain View in turn links to the bulk of that content. Really great work being done by them. Support for all in our community is really not new for Mountain View. It is an abiding priority on behalf of our city council. In 2017, the council adopted the Community for All strategic policy goal. It's a priority. In alignment, staff has developed over the years various programs, both pilot as well as regular ongoing programs, to meet the needs of our community. Shown on screen is a high-level summary of some of these initiatives. I'll call out one that's a little dear to my heart, which is the development of a human services division, which I oversee. And I did share a little collateral here with you in case you're interested about that. But in addition, there have been major significant inroads, such as developing a new housing department to focus on affordable housing for our community and really have that strategic vision there. At the start of the year, the council also approved a mid-year budget request to reinstate funding. It's now in 2 phases for a program that we ran during the last administration in 17-18. And this is called the Community for All Grant Program. What we did here is implement a grant for $100,000 in total for outreach strategies to the immigrant community. As part of this Community for All grant, the city granted $10,000 to 5 organizations. The grantees are shown on screen here. These organizations best met the program goals and stood out for their project ideas, their focused outreach, and their potential to impact the community. Over the grant program, we can expect to see a variety of projects, including quarterly immigration legal clinics in Mountain View, outreach to the Muslim community, free health screenings and basic essential services, helping navigate health systems as well. A series of community-led events led by local agencies like the Day Worker Center, who has already held one event to date. Working on a series of other programs, and there will also be the development of a mobile resource van. This is Stand For's initiative. They're just early on that, but they are developing a large-scale trailer that they can bring and take services directly where individuals need it. So it's going to take some work, but it's definitely a vaunted venture, and we are pleased to be able to fund that. We will be doing the second phase of this community grant program this year. We're hoping to launch that ideally by January. Other efforts that the city is undertaking is direct financial assistance. We are, as a part of our homeless strategy that was adopted in June of 2025, which is called Pathways to Housing, we are developing a new program that builds upon highly successful programs that Mountain View had during COVID for rent relief and emergency assistance. And this is really a way to help stabilize a family encountering an extreme emergency for financial assistance. Other resources that we have available are shown on screen. And these are really part of our effort to keep up and ensuring that our community is aware of services that we offer in light of the new administration and their approach. We have shared this information and we ensure it's continually updated and accurate. Again, really thanks to a lot of organizations such as the county that help provide assistance on this, as well as the City of Mountain View's key information. These are shown on screen. We also have the web links if you need any further information on that. Really, a core tenet is the city continues to engage in public communication, again, in multiple languages, with outreach to our immigrant community. Efforts have included developing public statements. The city's done that a number of times, creating a multi-language informational flyer about localized enforcement. I'm sure the chief probably shared this with you when he visited, but we have copies here for you. In addition, the City of Mountain View's website, which is a community for all, includes detailed immigration resources. This includes key resources that our community might need to have at their fingertips, like the information from the State Attorney General about legal support and options to residents who might be in need, alongside other collateral from other agencies. 2 Community for All presentations have also occurred with the Human Services Division. Multiple times, our police chief has come and spoken to our CBOs, community-based organizations. We have a monthly meeting of about 30 or so individuals in any given month. It's called the Coordinating Together Network. And this network is really serving our most vulnerable residents in Mountain View. They're individuals that you'll see on this list here that I also provided you, which is essential services for our community. But these amazing individuals are kind enough to meet with us monthly, and we collaborate, we coordinate, we share information so that we can better serve our most vulnerable residents. Another thing that we're doing is ensuring the council did update their policy just recently to ensure that nonprofit rental fees are provided to nonprofit providers, allowing them to use city facilities for needs that they might have, like training, events, other types of opportunities. In addition, since 1998, as amazing as that is, the city has provided a unique service to meet the needs of our growing and diverse community. And this is called the Multicultural Engagement Program. It's been called different things, but that's its current name. And what this program does, it's quite unique in the Bay Area. I believe you often have Laurel MEP staff come. Okay, yes, so the commission is very familiar with it, but they do provide information to residents in English, Spanish, and Chinese. Previously, they provided that in Russian. And what is really essential here is you can see some of their handiwork, their translations of all of our documents that serve our most vulnerable residents are translated into these 3 languages. Additionally, in response to this really changing and oftentimes fluid federal administration and that landscape, staff have initiated several proactive planning and other actions to ensure that we're in alignment with the council's priority for a community for all. And this includes forming a multi-department working group. This is comprised of staff from the city manager's office, human services division under the city manager's office, the multilingual team that I just mentioned to you, our housing department, the library, and community services, along with the police department. Additionally, staff from the city manager's office and our legislative intergovernmental partners continue to monitor federal legislative actions impacting local government. Other efforts have also included training and developing a protocol for our internal frontline staff here at the city of Mountain View that might have the opportunity to encounter a member of federal immigration enforcement. We need to make sure that they're prepared for such interaction, and so we've provided that. And further planning is also underway. This is actually led by our intergovernmental relations team to develop an action plan for the community for all. So it's very exciting. A lot of things that staff's working on. In addition, we most recently, and your chair attended as well, our Mayor Ellen Kamei held a roundtable with various members of local organizations to just discuss the current situation in Mountain View, understand better what the organizations are currently providing, what they're seeing, where there may be gaps or additional things that we could do to further meet the needs of our residents. And this included a really collaborative, open dialogue and discussion. The members that attended were the County of Santa Clara, the Community Services Agency of Mountain View and Los Altos, the Day Worker Center of Mountain View, Reach SV, Stand For, and of course, your chair. And this included a facilitated discussion and, really a lot of brainstorming, a lot of really helpful information, I think, was shared that you can see how the nonprofits are problem solving. They're working in real time. They're trying to both protect and provide services to our immigrant community. So they're really working on being very, very nimble and trying to be very responsible. With that, this concludes my presentation. I thank you again for the opportunity to present this evening, which supports our immigrant community. And I'm happy to take questions, and thank you for all that you all do out in the community.
Thank you so much, Deputy City Manager Kimberly.
Thank you.
All right. Now I open this local public comment. If there are attendees, seeing none in person, or do we have any online? No, okay. I move that forward for committee member questions. Committee member Sylvester.
Oh, no, you were first. Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, I'll go. I had a question about the conditions, if you will, on the CBDG and home grants. I've heard a little bit about what they might be, but can you tell us more about the specifics?
I can't speak to the specifics in terms of the language because it's very detailed and I don't know it verbatim. But I do know, I can share, I believe, in a basic level that our city attorney's office definitely did a review of that. And that has been something that was raised by our housing team. It's different than what was in the past. And so it is something that is definitely being looked at. And I think it is something that we're hearing will be commonplace now. For various other federal grants. So primarily for Mountain View, we are in the CDBG and home space, and we'll have some one-off grants, special through our legislative advocacy program that we get. We don't know what that will look like, but this is definitely a little bit of a different situation, and so we made sure to get review of that.
Are the grants on hold until?
I do not know status on that. I knew it a couple of weeks back. It was in the queue. I assume it's probably moved through, but it would be our housing team that could respond. So Laurel, if you'd like, we can do a ping to Wayne and just make sure that that whole loop has been closed.
I would love to hear what the update is. Thank you.
You bet.
Committee member Lester.
Thank you so much for the comprehensive presentation. I know it's difficult for city staff, and I've heard this from other cities where it's like, you don't want to publicize exactly what you're doing because you don't want to tip off federal agents as to actions that cities are taking. And so it's hard to be proactive and responsive and also protective of the immigrant community that we have here. So I really appreciate all of the work that you guys are doing, but I do think that at the same time, public outreach and having a city that stands strongly, loudly with its immigrant community is super awesome. So I think you guys have really done a great job in striking that balance. So I had a question about the Community for All Action Plan. In 2026, we're gonna see a lot of major events come to the city of Santa Clara, city of San Jose. But I think the understanding is that those events will impact the entire Bay Area in terms of seeing hundreds of thousands of visitors. And also, we've already seen public comment from the federal administration that will result in an increase in immigration enforcement across the entire Bay Area. And we saw the deployment in Alameda that was thankfully canceled. But does the Community for All Action Plan, I guess, account for specifically those events and, what will likely be an increase in fear amongst Mountain View community members?
I can share that the Community for All Action Plan wouldn't be able to address that issue because it's in the early stages of development.
Okay.
So this is a refining of our former diversity and inclusion plan. It's really taking a more broad, community-oriented focus. So we're modifying a prior initiative and really addressing that. But what is underway is that across the county, both from the county managers group and others, including like the Emergency Operations Center, et cetera, there is a response that's underway regarding FIFA and the Super Bowl. And, the comments that we've all read in the newspaper to that effect, to really be able to both have support, but also look at what our resources are, what our emergency operations centers can do to ensure that they're supportive and helpful. So there is a larger effort there. I am not lead on that. My boss, Audrey Seymour Ramberg, is. And so I can't speak to it in great depth, but we're happy to get you information about that if there's something that we have that's really substantive. Right now, the effort's really just beginning.
Awesome, thank you. And then I guess in terms of again, the county has been really responsive in this issue and has been such a great partner.
Yes.
And so the county and the city of San Jose, they have taken steps to ban immigration enforcement in county and city buildings and properties. And I was wondering if the city of Mountain View has looked at doing something similar.
We've not looked at that specifically. That just happened approximately 10 days ago as my record, I've got it in my email box. And it is something we work hand in hand in coordination with the IPEN group. We meet on a monthly basis. And so when we see things that are kind of innovative and sort of already have some structure to them, we definitely take a deep look at that. So we'll look at it. I think one of the challenges is just operationally for smaller cities, how do we make something like that work? It's a little bit different at that level, but certainly we're definitely aware of it.
What's IPEN?
Oh, I apologize. Oh, my goodness. And I have to tell you, it's very hard for me to
All
remember.
the acronyms, I know.
No, I apologize for even saying that. And I have to have it written out. It's immigration. It's in alignment with Amigos de Guadalupe, who you may know.
Yeah.
It is a subdivision, and I apologize. It's like immigration and then 4 other words.
That's enough for me. To
I can get it to Laurel. And what they do is they are actually doing collaborative coordination amongst cities across the county. And it's really a dialogue, a safe space for conversation. And they're doing really significant on the ground work themselves, work that cities may not directly be doing or able to do, but they're doing that work. And they have some real deep trust throughout the community, including in Mountain View. And so they are out doing active work. And so what we do at a staff level is we meet with them monthly to get feedback and share ideas and all of that. And so I think that's something that you were kind enough to highlight. And I think I said it earlier, the county is really doing all that they can to make sure that cities are well informed about what's happening And then the staff that they support through the Rapid Response Network and IPEN, really making sure they're sharing outward.
Committee Member Lester, Vice Chair. Treadwell.
Yeah, so I have two questions. First one is, and first of all, thank you for the presentation. I
Thank you so much. Of
really
course.
appreciated getting information. It's one of the things that I am very grateful for being on HRC is I feel like everything is scary, right? It's like, oh, I get to sit here and get like a curated set of information that I know I can trust, and that's very valuable. So regarding the Community for All grants, you're talking about how the city did those in 2016, 2017. We're good, since we did them again. I imagine there's gonna be increased demand, given that there are a lot of organizations struggling, either reduced funding or funding with strings attached, et cetera. Is there plans to ramp up the money available, or how are we gonna deal with that?
So we already granted, we got the money.
Oh, okay.
We got the money at mid-year.
Got it.
$100,000,
Okay.
and we granted $50,000 at the door.
Okay.
And so what we're doing now is we are using our remaining balance, and we're going to be providing it this year. Interestingly enough, there actually wasn't as much demand as what we had before, but we did start early within the administration, so it's possible on this next round, there may be more need. I think one of the things that I found, and I don't know if your chair wants to share, but really amazing to see, and I see it monthly in working with the CBOs. They're very flexible, very adaptable, very ear to the ground, making sure that they know what's happening in our community. So we have so many folks, and these are folks who, you know, may or may not receive $1 from the city in a grant, but they are out there serving our community on the ground.
Thank you. And then the other question is, can you speak a bit more about the Community for All action plan? What is the city doing to coordinate with schools? I'm curious about that. With school districts, I imagine the focus is public schools. But can you talk a little bit about what we can do to combat fear in that environment?
So a couple of things. As I mentioned, and I apologize about that, the Community for All work plan for that strategy, that's really still in the early stages of development. So it's not per se aligned with deeply in being responsive to immigration and other challenges and needs that we're experiencing now. It will certainly have that as a part of its overview and its analysis. What I can share about the schools is that the city itself is not directly engaging on that topic. We are receiving information from the school districts about their policies. For example, the Los Altos School District recently updated their guidelines. You might be aware of that. So we're in communication. What I can say is that organizations that are more aptly well-tuned to coordinate with the schools in a really productive way, like IPEN, like others, they definitely are engaging with the schools. And I think one of the key things is I can tell you from just being a parent of a child in East Bay schools, but still schools, the schools are very on this issue. They send out consistent communication. They, you know, if they've heard something happening in the surrounding area, they'll kindly let the parents know, recapping the parameters of how it is for that school site. And that's for public schools. Private schools, there might be different communications that they do. I'm not a party to that. But I can tell you that just anecdotally, my personal experience with that has been very positive with how schools want to respond.
Any more questions from the committee?
Just one more.
Yes, of course.
So you mentioned the Community for All monthly meeting. It sounds like that is not open to the public. That's like a working group. I was wondering if you have any recommendations for just wanting to stay informed on these topics. Like I realize there's a lot of different things happening, but is there, you know, a regular meeting that you would recommend, or a mailing list, or?
There's not a mailing list that I know of that would be publicly oriented. There is a lot of folks, both those who are paid city or county workers, but also a lot of nonprofits and volunteers that are definitely together. There's text chains, there's
of course.
WhatsApp, there's all kinds of things that are out there. I think what I would share is that our website, we do ensure we keep that very updated. We've provided a couple of updates throughout the 9.5 or so months with the new administration in our Council Connection, which is an email newsletter. Certainly, if there's something significant, your staff, Laurel, would ensure that you get that information. And then what we really strive to do at a team level is make sure that our website is very updated. So please feel free. Laurel can even send you those quick links if that works better for you, just to have those handy with what's going on and or links to other key resources. I can also share with you that, you know, the county has had numerous items on their board agenda. They recently just adopted a work plan at their, I think it was October 21st. Don't quote me on that, but I think that was the day where they sort of lined out you know, what they think are the major areas that they'll be working in over the intervening years. And so that's a helpful read if that interests you. That includes things like a reference to IPEN, where I apologize, we can tell you the full name of what IPEN is. And I don't know, did you Google that already for me,
I
Michael?
tried, but the environmental one is more.
I also
Sorry,
rolled
in
it in the
Google.
environmental.
Oh, you guys, give me 1 minute. I know, I have to tell you.
Still asleep.
You guys can talk amongst yourselves, and then because I feel so bad, it's long, and so it's not just like it rolls off your
Right.
mouth. Give me-
The most eloquent words to share of a fluid administration. Eloquent way of putting it, yes. I was like, oh, that is something I can say at the dinner table.
For Thanksgiving, this will help you.
I see a lot of other things.
There are a lot of other names for it.
Fluid is your new word.
It's definitely better than.
Depending on who you're at the Thanksgiving table with, yes.
I didn't realize multicultural engagement program was no longer doing Russian translation.
Yep.
The demographic.
Kind of recent, yeah.
It was mostly seniors, right?
My understanding, yes. And we still do provide Russian interpretation and translation as needed, for example, for the rental housing and administration pieces. We just don't default translate everything into Russian now.
And of course, when you're, you know, how it is when you're looking for something, you simply cannot find it. But give me a second here. Oh, yeah, here we go. We ready? Okay. So IPEN stands for Immigrant Protection and Empowerment Network. And it is a subdivision, as I mentioned, of Amigas de Guadalupe.
All right.
My apologies for taking forever to find
No,
that.
no worries, no worries. Does any other committee member have a question? I have a couple. Thank you so much for the presentation. So I think as your presentation alluded to, it's not only with ICE interactions that the immigrant community is being impacted by, but there's also, we're being impacted on multiple fronts, including health. We just recently had a whole event with working partnerships and the city to make folks aware about the December 31st deadline. Are there any further efforts to promote folks, especially those in the vulnerable communities, to sign up prior to the December 31st deadline, knowing that they may not be covered
Yeah.
in the upcoming years?
Yeah, definitely. Whenever we both, we have an ongoing dialogue with our community-based organizations. So these are organizations that you all know well, like stand for United Effort. They are out there daily providing services. When we get information on deadlines or new food services, we've been tracking obviously SNAP and CalFresh because the significant challenges. We share that information out through that network and they in turn share that out. And so it really is important. There are some key providers locally, and that paramount of which would be CSA, does a significant role within our community because they're providing so much safety net service. But those providers and those trusted messengers, we share information outward about that. We do provide a kind of essential information, which is this. We provide this every single month, we update it. And this includes basic essential services. And one of the things that's really important from the city side is that They engage with our local partners as well as if there's something more significant happening, 211 or they can contact the Bill Wilson Center if they're in need for financial assistance or housing assistance.
Perfect. Thank you for that. And then, so part of the role of the HRC, as you know, is to also be reaching out to within our circles in order to promote all the information that you've provided us. Is there any way we can support any further involvement on dissemination of information in order to help these efforts, in order to ensure that we make the community aware that these services, resources are available?
Well, definitely one thing, and Laurel, I hadn't really even thought about this. We have a large group, including like our library, our economic development team. We share content like this outward through our auspices in the Human Services Division. I can talk with Laurel offline and we can see if, I don't want to spam you with too much stuff, but certainly, and then she could just sort of, maybe double check it, whether it's something that you might find really interesting or if I really am spamming you. But we're happy to share. And I think one of the things that's really important is, even you being as deeply aware of what we offer in Mountain View, sometimes you'll look at this and go, wow, I don't even know Hope Hanger had a food pantry too. They do clothes, but I didn't know they do food. And so what we consistently do is try to keep that as updated as we can. And so we do that on a monthly basis. So I appreciate you sharing information outward. This is a really challenging time. And as we go to the holidays, it can get more challenging for folks. And so you being willing to do that is very appreciated.
Thank you so much, Deputy City Manager Kimberly Thomas. Please give her a round of applause. Thank you. All right. Moving on to item 7, committee member staff comment, questions, and committee member reports. No discussion or action will be taken on any questions raised by the committee at this time. State law prohibits the committee from discussing or acting on substantive non-agenda items. Is there anything anyone would like any comment on? Okay, I can start. So yeah, as Deputy City Manager Kimberly Thomas mentioned, I was part of the Mayor's Roundtable. I want to say it was like now a few weeks ago, right?
It was
Yeah.
actually, believe it or not. Yeah, I think it was, my gosh, was it November? It was October,
Right.
October 16th.
Oh my gosh, yeah. If it-
Time flies. I know.
It-
It's amazing.
But it was a space for all of us to have intentional conversations of what we're seeing out in the community, not only within Mountain View, but also the neighboring cities, because we are not operating in silos anymore. The impact, what also like not only adults, but children, as we've been seeing, like mostly it's been breadwinners that have been being targeted during these ICE incidents, and how they've been working the system and what are things that we need to be aware of. This was even prior to the Alameda County incident and preparations of that as well. The main thing that we walked away with is that there is a lot of action items that we can work on, and it's just trying to fine tune that into what would essentially give us more bang for our buck. So I think my understanding is that there will be further conversation that we will take on, especially with new changes that we're going to be embarking on, especially with healthcare, SNAP, and all these things coming to the forefront. I'm sure we'll have more to provide to you in the upcoming future with regards to the roundtable. So aside from that, we had the Cafecito had invited me to the conversation with Chief Kent Field, where we had an intimate conversation with the chief about like kind of what's been going on post the Alameda County incident. The concern many residents have with respects to like how law enforcement won't they interact with ICE despite constant reminders. I think it's just important to note, like, not everybody watches our city council meetings. Not everybody reads our social media. And it's important to have these dialogues with members of the community to make them aware that like the city is standing alongside them throughout these hardships. So it was pretty awesome and a privilege to also translate for Chief Canfield on like what they've been doing, which has been meeting with CBOs and small groups like this, and just reassuring them that like civically, they will not get involved on any immigration matter with respect to that, but also making them aware that there are times that they do work with HSI, but those are other specific incidents, right? So like being fully transparent on how those interactions look like. But the community was very happy about that. Very grateful that the chief took time out of his busy schedule to meet with them. So that was great. And then lastly, Dia de los Muertos, I hope you all were able to attend. I saw committee member Sylvester and Vice Chair Chadwell there. We also had the Rapid Response Network there, tabling, and luckily we had no ICE incident, but yes, it goes to show you that we also had many community members come to the table and be grateful that there are these resources available. But not only that, we had responders around the vicinity, making sure that like folks were safe and that we would report if any incident would arise. We'd be able to respond to that as well. But it was a beautiful event, well attended by the community, well loved. I hope we all got a chance to see the what the community leaders did inside City Hall. It was gorgeous. Right?
It was gorgeous.
But a true testament of the what it looks like to have a community for all here in Mountain View and what we aspire to and hope to continue to grow here in the city. So that's it. Okay, and with that, item 8, adjournment. I adjourn to the next regular meeting of the Human Relations Committee scheduled for December 4th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. in the Plaza Conference Room at Mountain View City Hall and virtually on Zoom. Thank you all for attending. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have great holidays as well. If I don't